Oh, fellas, I've been watching the SEC media days all week. How does some of these bozos get credentials to go in there? Have you heard some of the questions? Arch Manning, I have a question. Were you always wanting to be a quarterback? Oh, no, my name's Manning. I was dreaming of being a right guard. I mean, how stupid is that?
You're talking to a guy that got credentials for 20 years?
I always wondered. I'll throw the bone down into Winfrey. What's going on here, man? And I've got to bust you on one thing. Why couldn't you have been the guy who asked Tim Tebow if he was a virgin and to describe his sex life?
Because
I let Clay Travis do it.
Because I was a virgin at the time.
The rumors are true. There it is, right there. So, I mean, legend. How does a guy from the Bug Tussle Bugle get a credential? And last year they told Keefer, no, you're not.
I didn't hear back from the SEC. What's up, see? They're not. I think we should go to the coaches. I think the Destin meetings are where we need to be going in the first place.
That's where the real acts. That's where the real. Or maybe we need to have a coaches convention in Aruba, like we're talking about.
Hey, there we go. There we go. Forget the credential. Let's just go to Aruba. I stayed out with the morning zoos enough during SEC media days. You didn't.
Okay. Greg Sankey, give us a credential. What's up, Sank?
You have to ask.
The legend's got to be at SEC Media Day. Come on, man.
I do have his credentials for the AAC media days, if it's like what else. I wonder what that was.
That's better than AA meeting.
UAB and Navy and stuff like that.
We can do that. I can do that. We got to do that.
15 seconds.
Oh, we got.
Oh, the show about to start.
Hey, the starting lineup right now. Let's get crazy. ABC, we got credential.
But we for real, ladies and gentlemen.
Cody Kemp right now. Coming at you with somebody from the Zac Brown Band.
Hey, welcome to the starting lineup right here, Saturday mornings, ABC 3340, along with Kip Keefer, Tony Curry, and we have a very special guest today from the Zac Brown Band, Chris Fryar, the drummer, in the house, baby. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Chris, we do the starting lineup, and so normally there are 9 people in a starting lineup of Major League Baseball. So I wanted to start something new. Whenever we have a special guest on, if you were batting, where would we put you? Are you a cleanup guy? Are you like to get on base first? Or you got like?
Oh, you definitely put me on the bench.
No. Well, you're part of the starting lineup today, so bring your bat and get after it, man. Great to see you. Chris, of course, we ran into each other at the Def Leppard concert.
Yes.
At the Coca-Cola Amphitheater, which, by the way, is a beautiful venue if you get a chance to go down there.
Venue.
And I'm assuming that it's only a matter of time before the Zac Brown Band will be playing there.
I hope so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that you don't have anything going on the rest of the summer, but
No,
you're going to be going to Australia later on in October, and then you're going to Vegas. Tell people where you guys are going to be.
Correct. We're doing several cities in Australia. We'll be there for about 10 or 12 days. Then kind of home for a bunch of rehearsals, getting ready for an appearance at the Sphere the first 2 weekends of December.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you have not played there yet.
Not
or
yet.
have not been in there yet. It's unbelievable.
I've been to a couple events and it's fabulous. I was telling Chris how excited I am for it. It's going to be a real experience for the band out as well, because you've never played a venue like that before, because we're used to the concept of the IMAX with it overhead. It's all around you here. I mean, because it's a circular. It's just hard to describe, but everything that goes on is you're just completely immersed in it.
It's almost like a Red Rocks thing where bands want to play there.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not saying they're
absolutely.
giving you a special rate to go there, but everyone, U2 wants to play there. Everyone wants to play this thing.
Yeah, I was able to see the Eagles last fall there, and it was phenomenal.
I wanted to ask you, you do some really special things during your concerts for military, for vets, and of course people who are still in the military, which is great. You recognize people, and I've seen just a million clips on YouTube and at your shows, and I think that's just super, super cool. When you're outside the United States of America, what do you do for military types when you're playing different cities outside the United States? Because that's such a big part of what you do here in the States.
Yeah, it depends. If there's a U.S. base nearby,
Okay.
We will sometimes have a soldier come out and do a salute during Chicken Fried.
Nice.
We have in England, we've actually had part of their military come out and do a salute. We've done that in I think Canada as well. And it's amazing, the first few times we got to that part of the song, Zac had expressed a little touch of apprehension about singing about our flag and our patriotism in other countries, and the response we get in other countries is absolutely astonishing.
Fantastic.
Everyone
That's-
loves that. Yeah,
that's
they
great.
really do enjoy it.
That's great. Well, I'm sitting next to one of the biggest patriots in the world, and Kip Keefer. Kip, what you got for Chris?
Well, I'm thrilled to have him here and just talk about the kind of ascension of the Zac Brown Band, because you see a lot of bands kind of get to a point where they're extremely popular, but you guys have not only gotten to that point, you guys have really maintained. And then talking about how, you know, what kind of moves the band has made, and how staying on top is probably as daunting as getting there.
It is, yes, that's a good word for it, daunting. Our approach is that we're always trying to win over new fans. We always look at it as an opportunity to win more fans, an opportunity to gain more traction. The game has changed a lot with digital streaming, so there's less purchasing at say, a retailer. So that changes the buying and selling of records, so to speak. But apart from that, we're always trying to make the show the best it can be so that we win more fans. And it's like we're always trying to start from square one.
Well,
We
it's sure
treat it
working.
like that way. Well,
Yeah,
thank
it
you.
sure is. Chris Fryar, the drummer of the Zac Brown Band, coming to a show near you if you live in Sydney, Australia, or Brisbane, or somewhere down there, and hopefully back to the States here, maybe in 2026, and also, of course, in Las Vegas at the Sphere. It's funny because I've been doing radio forever, and you used to come up when we did the opening drive with
Yeah.
Alan Jay and stuff, and you used to sit in the studio with us, and we'd loved having you. And for years, we've been saying country music does not have the staying power. This is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, country music's going to have a little run, and it's going to go away, and obviously it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, I mean, obviously it's been around. Did you see country music where it is now 5 to 10 years ago? And I mean, you're doing a collaboration with Snoop Dogg, for God's sakes.
Yes.
Which is super cool. But is it where it is? And I know a lot of females probably are kind of torn up because it seems like there's not as much female representation in country music as there used to be.
There is a lot of female representation still, and the ones who are making their way in the industry, they are powerhouses. They are incredible singers, incredible entertainers. We started noticing a change about the time that we started to get traction. There were the bending of the genre. So there was like with guys like Colt Ford who were starting to rap in country music, you know, and so you're seeing this embracing of different genres and styles, and then blending them together, which is something that we do a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we try to blur the lines as much as possible.
What was it like working with Snoop Dogg? Were you in the studio when that happened? Or was it
No,
one
I
of those things
wasn't
on the side?
there.
Yeah.
So, like, I found out that it was happening, and I literally was astonished. Like, oh, whose butt did we kiss to make this happen?
Oh, man.
But he just crushed it. We've done a lot of collaborations in the past, and every single one of them is exciting, and this one has been equally as exciting.
That's
so
awesome.
we're here coming up sometime very soon. I think we're shooting a music video with him.
Yep.
So.
Very exciting.
Well,
Yep.
it's interesting because it seems to me like the genres, all the different styles of music, the line's kind of blurred now. So there's so much crossover, people wanting to do the other styles, and you know, I can remember the year, and to Tony's question, you always said, you know, country music act. You don't hear that preface anymore.
No.
If you're highly successful, I just think the business has changed, and you guys have evolved with it.
Well, thank you for saying so. We definitely have had an uphill battle with that. You know, we're one of the last artists to engage in like having, you know, in-store sales. Not a handful of youngsters out now that know what that's like.
Huh.
No, and it's super cool because back in the day, and we've had many discussions about this because we're both in our 50s, bands didn't go on the road because they wanted to, because they had to, and they had to promote the new album.
Oh,
You hear
yeah.
3 or 4 of your new songs, and then and now it's just totally reversed, where people are making their money on the road, and obviously they're selling their albums because of it. Thank you so much for coming in, man. Please
Thank you
come
for
by
having
anytime.
me.
I know you're super busy, and we love you. And Chris Fryar, Zac Brown Band.
Real quick, 41 days till football.
41.
It's Roll Tide, right?
Roll Tide.
It is Roll Tide.
We got to
yeah.
get that out.
Kalen DeBoer going to have a better second year, I'm hoping.
I think so. I think he's going to have he had a successful year the first year.
Yeah.
You know, he had a better first season than Saban.
Yeah.
Who's the GOAT?
That's a good point. We talked about, Nick Saban lost this team called La Monroe.
Yeah.
I'll never forget because I had a good friend of mine who got married on that Saturday because they were playing La Monroe. And they lost to La Monroe, and he said, my marriage will not last. And was divorced 3 months later.
That was a really bad sign.
If your favorite team loses to La Monroe on your wedding day, chances are you're not going to make it. So, Chris, thank you so much, man.
Thank you
Appreciate
for having me.
Great having you. Great to meet you.
Got a full show today, of course. We have the legend coming up. We're going to go to the cave, and the Case has got some heaters out there in Las Vegas, my friend. It's going to be awesome. He's going to have some great picks for us later on right here in the starting lineup.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where a spin could turn dreams into reality. Meet Sammy F., who just won over $70,000. And Orlando P., hitting the jackpot with a whopping $100,000. Feel the thrill of winning and join the dance of champions.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Your chance to be the next big winner is here at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Oh, welcome to the Legend Cave. Monty Bauer with the perfect pass. Like Terry Bradshaw to Liv Swan. I'm open, baby, all the time. Just throw it to me. I'm here in the cave where few men have ever stood. Tupac, Elvis Presley, Ronnie Van Zant, Tony Curry, and Kip Keefer.
And Bama Hater.
Bama, forget Bama Hater. He's been, he ain't coming back. But anyway, I'm here with the great ones, and I gotta know today is Message Day. Today we are going to send messages out. I want you to give about a 20-second message to the person or university I tell you on the legend today. Give you an example. Coach the board. Get your act together. If you miss the playoffs, I'm sending a U-Haul down to your house. Don't miss the playoffs this year, Coach the board. All right, Tony. Give a message out to Hugh Freeze. What would you tell Hugh Freeze? Go ahead and get that doggone gift card there, that golf, Robert Trent Jones course thing. Robert Trent Jones thing is fantastic. You play all the golf you want for like 12 or 13 bucks a round. He's already played like 12 times this month. You can play golf the entire year. You don't want to worry about recruiting, NIL stuff like that. Go play some golf with Robert Trent Jones. I agree. Just go ahead. Forget about football, Coach Freeze. Kipper, give him 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Tell Kirby Smart what he needs to know coming into the season.
Kirby Smart, here's the deal. Don't defend Gunnar Stockton. Just put him out there and let him do what he's going to do. There's all kinds of detractors. He doesn't need your help. He was a 5-star. He's ready to go. Georgia's going to be a pretty strong team. They got all their big games at home after having them all on the road last year. Kirby, you haven't lost it in Athens since 2018. Fatten up at home at Sanford Stadium and roll on into the playoffs.
All right, I'm going to throw in on Kirby for about 20 seconds. My message to you, Kirby, it's over. That dynasty is done. It's in the sand. It's over, brother. You sit there and told it while it was going on because it's over with now. Tell Brian Kelly, what's your message to Brian Kelly going into the season? Brian, it's ain't touchdown LSU. It ain't touchdown Jesus. It is just our Father who art in heaven for the rest of the season. You better win that first one. Oh, he's talking to you, Brian Kelly. Oh, got another message right here for you, Brian Kelly. Open them ears.
After listening to you at SEC Media Days, Brian, you're in the wrong profession. You need to be a public relations guy for a pharmaceutical company. You do not sound like a football coach. You're talking all this smack, but you're not really saying anything except for we're optimistic and we're excited. Let's talk about substance. You haven't gotten it done in your 3 years at LSU, and you better get it done this year.
Tony, if you was to tell the Shark something down in Texas, what would you tell him? It's come a long way since he was drinking at practice. Yeah. I'd say congratulations, and he says he's got the best defense he's had at Texas. I want to see it.
But he's getting no respect. When he came out on the stage at SEC Media Days, they played the Texas A&M fight song by mistake. Now, what would have happened if in Nick Saban's day they would have played Rocky Top when he was walking up?
Wow, that's disrespect there, Shark. Let me tell you something, Shark. You got Arch Manning. Here's my message to you. You better make it happen before he graduates and goes to the NFL, or you going to be exposed as not the offensive genius that everybody thinks you are. The legend knows you ain't as good. When you forfeit, when you first and 1 at the 1 yard line and can't get in 4 tries. Arch Manning, Tony, what's your message to the Arch? To the Arch? Play like your old man. Play like your old man's brother. Play like your old man's old man. Just play like someone in the family. You got the name. All you got to do is put it in the air. Kip, if you was to tell the media something down there at SEC Media Day this week with this pathetic question and your pathetic question, what would you tell them if you were standing before them in the locker room right now?
Yeah, listen, don't ask questions if you don't know anything. You're making an imbecile out of yourself asking Arch Manning did he always want to be a quarterback? Come on, man.
Come on, man. Tony, we rounded it up here. If you had to tell Lane Kiffin something, he's missed so many playoffs. What would you tell the Lane train going into the season?
You mind if I call your ex-wife?
You need her number, right, Tony?
Plug your ears, man. Plug your ears.
Rings on this finger here. I'm still looking at those pictures on the internet.
One final message.
Send the message.
Legend I thank just hugely. Last week's guest on the Game Time show, Paul Feinbaum, came on with us, and he was fantastic. Paul might be the best interviewer in sports, but he is a hell of a good interview as well. Our great thanks to Paul Feinbaum for launching our show last week.
That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. We're sending a message out to the SEC. And in closing, let me talk to the Alabama football team just for a minute. Now listen, I can't take another year of not making the playoffs. My heart is weak. The doctor said if you don't make the playoffs this year, I'm coming to see you though. I mean, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad, Lamar. Get it together. Remember, it's just a game. Don't be like the starting lineup. Clown Sports Insane.
Looking for a little extra cash for the holidays? I know people are like, holidays? Hey, we're only about 4 or 5 months away from the holidays, man. Kai Gregory is a guy I'm going to bring up from SPS because he picked 9-0 on this show last year, and we're part of this K4 Wins thing. We'll talk about in a few minutes. It's a great handicapping show. But he runs Southern Precision Staffing. It's a great staffing company. Whether you do welding, any skill work, you're looking for work, they've got it for you, and they'll find you a job. Plus, they do all kinds of things for other people. They staff everything. SPS, Southern Precision Staffing, 205-682-2828, 205-682-2828, right here in Hoover, Alabama, serving the United States of America, just like the show does. And, of course, where your handshake and your word still mean something. Also, the Woodhouse Day Spa, our good friends, Stuart Rome's going to be coming in as we get ready for the holiday season and college football season. Everyone wants to make sure the manicures, the pedicures, all the nails are looking good for the college football season. You got to look fine coming back from the beach to the Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
And K4 Wins, Tony mentioned it, and you need to be a part of it because if you enjoy investing on sports, Tony, it's a lot more fun when you win when you invest on sports.
The wife doesn't care if you bet as long as you're winning.
She doesn't mind that you invest. She doesn't like you to lose.
Exactly.
And you don't lose if you go with K4 Wins. Last week we were 22-8, Tony. That's about a 72% clip against the spread. We've been coming up with all kinds of winners all year. We've got over 1,000 since we started this year.
We've had one losing week in over a year, and I tell people, just try us out. Go to K4Wins.com.
No cost. It's free.
It's free. Go subscribe. Try one time, and if it don't work, you're nothing out. And if it does work, stick with us.
K4Wins.com. Check it out today, and go to the TKR Network. Download the app. You can watch or listen to watch our weekly podcast, and we're now expanding it to 2 weekly podcasts.
We are. We're also on the Coastal Sports Network. We're
That's
out of
awesome.
Fort Myers, Florida, and we're along the whole eastbound. So we're up in Boston and New York and everything else. So we are blowing and going, man.
K4Wins.com. And speaking of things you need to check out, it is football weekend information domination. Game Time back on Jocks on Saturday mornings from 8 to 10. Morning After coming in August. Here's a quick word from Game Time.
Well, Terry, the Tide is in Baton Rouge on a Saturday night. Always a tough test against LSU. A critical game on the schedule. The offense lately sort of sputtering and inconsistent. I'm sure Coach DeBoer is tuned in. What would you tell him needs to happen for Alabama to come out with a big win?
Alabama needs to get back to running the football. This is absurd. They're trying to make Jalen Milroe into a pocket passer. The man is a phenomenal athlete. Turn him loose. Also, it wouldn't hurt to give the ball to Haynes and Miller and make that LSU defense prove that they can stop them.
And tonight in college football, Alabama gets a resounding win in Baton Rouge, demolishing the LSU Tigers, 22-13. Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe was unleashed and dominated the Tigers with a career high of 185 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns.
When it's game time, everybody is listening.
Hey, it's Case Keefer back again for another edition of the Vegas Heaters as part of the starting lineup. I'm a longtime sports bettor, sports betting writer, and assistant sports editor for Greenspun Media Group, which includes the Las Vegas Sun and the Las Vegas Weekly. Now, hopefully for your sake, you missed the segment last week, because I think we broke at least a 3-week winning streak. Just totally whiffed last week, broke down NASCAR, and hats off to Shane Van Gisbergen. Clearly, he is all he has cracked up to be, probably the best road course racer we've ever seen. Was foolish to go against him. He dominates at Sonoma, and then even the UFC, we went 0-2. The first time ever since we've been covering the sport here that I've had a losing week on the starting lineup in the UFC, but that's okay. It is onwards and upwards, and it was time to turn the page anyway. I never want to go out on a loser, so hopefully we can dive into some of the niche sports again before football season, come out with a winner. Hopefully you saw my Open Championship bets. We cashed one of those this week, but in the meantime, I think it is time we start with all the football preview content week after week, giving out a lot of futures, a lot of win totals. Now, I've already closed the book on 3 conferences. I've bet a ton, done all my preseason work, ready for the games to get going. That is the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Mountain West. I've already given out some SEC plays on here over the last couple weeks. Big Ten next week. Big Ten Media Days is here in Las Vegas at Mandalay Bay, so maybe we'll dive into the Big Ten then. I always like to keep this a little topical to what's going on in Las Vegas. What's the biggest sports thing of the week? Well, this week, that is Mountain West Media Days at Circa. I know that's probably not on a lot of people in the South's radar, but hey, this league has probably been the best group of 5 conference over the last decade. I know the American probably has something to say about that, but the Mountain West has been pretty good. This is kind of the end of an era. This is the last time these 12 teams will be together, and it could go out on a high. It could be the best group of 5 conference once again. Boise State, of course, getting the nod last year into the playoff. And for the second straight year, it is seen as a 2-team race. For the 3rd consecutive year, it could be Boise State and UNLV in the conference championship game. I don't actually have any bets on either of these teams, but since they loom so far above the rest of the conference, that I'd give some thoughts. Boise State, I just think the way they're priced, you have to stay away right now. They're 9.5 win total kind of across the board here in town. I've seen as high as 9.5 under plus 180. I got to be honest, I'm a little tempted on the under at that price. If that got up to plus 200, or if I ever get to a 10, I'm probably going to take a little taste on Boise State, under. Of course, they lose Ashton Jeanty, who comes to the Raiders, which is a big deal. But I think it's an even bigger deal that Dirk Cutter, their offensive coordinator, retired. It was only 2 years ago at the end of 2023 where they fired Andy Avalos because their offense was such a disaster. They brought Dirk Cutter in as an interim level, and their offense just took off from then. They really got to answer me that this offense is going to be the same without Jeanty, without Cutter. I know Maddox Madsen. I do have some belief in him. I think he's a good quarterback, but I need to see it just a little bit. They have a tough start to the season at South Florida, at Notre Dame later, also at Air Force. That makes me lean to the under here. I still think they should be the favorite, but they are just a little too pricey. Minus 130 to minus 150 to win the conference. That is too much. UNLV, on the other hand, another team I'm kind of keeping at arm's length, but if I was really pushed, I would probably be on the over 8.5 there. Now, there's a lot of questions if Dan Mullen can come in and immediately have them up and running the way Barry Odom did, and I just don't really question Mullen from a tactical standpoint. I think he's always answered on that side. I think some other things didn't work out at Florida, and it really looks like he is an embarrassment of riches to work with at UNLV. UNLV, the best transfer portal class among the group of 5 conferences. If you watch this team this year, you're going to notice guys all over the field. Ton of SEC guys, ton of big program guys, former big-time recruits. I think they're going to be really good talent. It's just a matter of if it all clicks. So I'm not going to bet it because you never know in the first year of a new coach, but I do think UNLV is probably a little closer to Boise than the odds let on. Since I kind of passed on both those two, I'm going to give you my 3 best bets as far as win totals in the Mountain West. I went Air Force over 5.5 wins. Now, I know this is kind of juicy, but I would play it all the way up to minus 175. Kind of a weird year for Air Force last year. They're usually so consistent year in, year out, have a lot more returning production this year. I think they're going to be right there. I actually bet them 25-1 to win the conference. Just a little sprinkle there. Another over. I like Bronco Mendenhall coming over from New Mexico to Utah State. Over 4 wins, minus 20. That feels like stealing. Utah State, a much better program than New Mexico. And he went over with that win total in New Mexico last year. I like the way Bryson Barnes ended the season. So Utah State over 4. 1 unders. I don't like to be all positive. I'm usually more bearish than bullish. I like New Mexico under 3.5. I think I bet minus 140. They have a new coach coming in from Idaho. This team just has no resources, usually one of the worst in the nation year after year. I think they're going to get back to that this year. So there's my 3 Mountain West win totals. Now, I know we are going to move the show into a direction where we're talking about week 1. Do you play a cupcake game or do you play a big-time game? And I got to say, I don't have strong feelings. I understand both ways that you're probably more likely punished for playing another power conference program. But I just have one pet peeve, and the SEC is the biggest culprit of all. We have 134 top-level football bowl subdivision teams right now. If you insist on playing a cupcake and taking the easy way out, which I probably don't like, at least take on another FBS team. There is no reason you should be playing the Alcorn States or the Southeast Missouris or the FCS teams. A lot of teams violate it. It's by far an epidemic in the SEC, though. I can't stand that, and spare me the whole talk about how you're helping these programs. They need the money. A lot of these programs on the upper level need the money too, and a lot of these coaches have ties to them. So at least play FBS programs. There is no excuse for playing FCS. Let's see what the rest of the guys say about that.
Welcome back to Starting Lineup. Some very insightful thoughts there from Case Keefer, live from Las Vegas, about whether you want to play the cupcake or you want to play the big game. Of course, we got those big games, Alabama, FSU this year. We've got Notre Dame and Miami, which is going to be a big game.
Texas, Ohio State,
brutal Ohio State,
Clemson, and LSU. I mean, these are some brutal games right off the bat.
They really are.
Risk reward. What do you guys think? Should you play a game like that to start the season? Or should you host a tasty pastry and get a big 60-0 win on opening day?
I like them tasty pastries myself. I mean, what advantage do you have to play a tough team when the playoff committee plainly said it don't matter?
Yeah.
So why put the risks out there of playing a powerhouse when you can just have your little Twinkie and just... I love them 60-0 in the game when my team's winning 60-0.
Whip Sanderson used to love playing cupcakes. And I'll tell you, he played cupcakes. He'd love to start the season 15-0, throw himself out, find out where he's at. He's like, that's the whole thing about competition making you better. Hooey on that.
Yeah,
start 15-0 and go as far as you can. And we saw that with Indiana last year.
Yeah.
With Northern Illinois, they played a bunch of cupcakes. They ended up going to the playoffs because they lost one game. So there you have it.
Yeah. The legend touched on it. Ward Manuel, the chairman, halfway through the process last year goes, well, we really don't look at strength of schedule. It's not the team's fault who they play. Well, if that's the case, why would you ever play a game like Texas and Ohio State or Clemson and LSU? And you know what the reason is? TV says we got to have some really big-time matchups every single week. And TV, folks, don't kid yourself. They run the show. I told Tony this week on a podcast, in a couple of years, he said, where are we going to be 5 years down the road? I said, we're going to have the Fox League and we're going to have the ESPN League because that's who's calling the show.
Also known as the SEC and the Big Ten.
Yeah, and basically they're kind of trying to mold this into the NFL model. That's kind of the dream, is to have a Saturday NFL with all established teams, all big rivalries, and I think that's the direction we're going. So I think the consensus is, bring on the cupcakes.
Yeah, I love it.
And I wanted to ask Ledger real quick, because you're such a big SEC homer and a big Alabama fan. 8 conference games, I love it. Again, if you're talking about adding Kentucky or Vanderbilt as a 9th game, that does nothing for me. I'd much rather play something out of conference. What's your thoughts on going to 9 games? Because the Big Ten is making that a stick in the mud.
Well, if I had Michigan's schedule, I would love 9 games.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, there's 10 teams in the SEC that can make the playoffs with Michigan's schedule. And that includes the Auburn Tigers, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe that? I couldn't believe that, but Auburn could make the playoffs with Michigan's schedule. So the Big Ten just need to shut your mouth. You ain't in our league.
Yeah, the first lady of the SEC, Terry Quillian, said it best last year. With so many bad teams in the Big Ten, a lot of their conference games are cupcake games.
Yes. Love to have Michigan's schedule. Love to have it.
We're at 12 teams. There's no doubt there's going to be 16. I know Greg Sankey, he's like talked about. He's like, hey, listen, if we can't agree, we'll just stick with 12. No.
Yeah, that's not going to
12.
happen. TV.
So you're talking about these great games like Texas, Ohio State. It doesn't get any better than that. We don't want to see those go away. And again, with the Chick-fil-A kickoffs and the All-State games, stuff like that, I think those are going to stay relevant. But you also have to have these smaller teams who now are going to be paying back the NCAA because it's House versus NCAA bill, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you need to get those paydays as well. So that's our thoughts on that on the Starting Lineup.